Hello everyone. Oh, for those of you that are new, my name is pronounced Athan, not Athen. For those of you that are regulars, what's up? Welcome back to another banger video. Anyways, I've been living in Japan for over 6 months, and boy, do I have some culture shocks to tell all of you. And my last culture shock is my best one, so make sure you stick until then. And now that I've trapped you to watch this video, let's get started. No one speaks English here. It's all Japanese. This is a big culture shock when I came here. It's actually crazy how convenient convenience here are. They have all the necessities, like various food and snacks, kitchen supplies, household supplies, manga, even have a printer, which has saved me so many times. American convenience stores are okay, but personally, I only ever went there to get the odd overpriced snack. Here in Japan, I actually prefer to shop at convenience because all their stuff is very affordable and it's a quality. And then when I can't buy at convenience, I go to other stores. And on top of being convenient, it's also kind of like the hangout spot for young people here. Like literally, whenever you're out in the city with your friends, you gotta go to Konbini, get a snack or two, get a smoothie, and this whole experience was just a big culture shock for me, in a great way. My next culture shock is that there are shrines everywhere in Japan. Literally every morning when I commute to the gym, there's this huge shrine that I always pass, and that's the craziest thing to me. I've always thought that shrines are this beautiful tourist attraction that you have to go travel to. But in Japan, it's like, there's like a shrine on like every street. It's like so normalized and it's so cool. And people regularly go to the shrines and they like pray and stuff, just like I've seen in anime. By the way, I may or may not be adding visuals as I'm speaking. If I am, you're welcome. If I'm not, sorry about that. I'm really busy, so just imagine. This next culture shock is really getting me, and it is the whole trash system here in Japan. First of all, not only is trash very hard for like a dumb American like me to throw away, but there's no trash cans at all in Japan. Like when you're walking the street, there's no public trash cans. And surprisingly, I would say that Tokyo is actually cleaner than all the American cities I've been in, even though it doesn't have trash cans. Because everyone just is responsible for their own trash and they take it with them. So that's something that I've gotten used to doing. It was just a shock nonetheless. And the other shock that I was alluding to before is trash separation here in Japan. But when I bring all my trash back home, I have to categorize it in over like 9 different categories. And it's so confusing. There's burnables, there's plastics, but there's also plastic bottles, there's cardboard, and plastics go in plastic. Unless it's like a dirty plastic, then you put it in another category. And cardboard goes in cardboard unless it's dirty cardboard, and you put it in a different category. And as I'm saying this, it like sounds like obviously like, yeah, if it's dirty, like just put it in another category, Ethan. But it's not that easy. I don't know what counts as dirty and what's not dirty. I see the plastics when they have the plastic symbol. I'm like, okay, that's plastic. But then when I go to throw it away, the trash guys don't pick it up. And then my landlord gets a little mad at me and I don't want to make her mad. So I end up being too afraid to throw away my trash. And now literally on my porch, I have so much stuff just piled up that I'm just too afraid to throw away. And I need to take the time and throw it away, but I just haven't gotten there yet. Next, there's no water fountains at all anywhere in Japan. Just like there's no trash cans, there's only vending machines, which when I originally came here, I was like, yay, vending machines, Japan. But then I was like, oh wow, every time I want to get water, I have to pay for water. It doesn't matter if I'm at school, I'm in random buildings, there's gonna be a huge vending machine and I have to pay at least 100 yen for water, which is not that much, but it's not something I'm used to doing. I will say, the vending machines are literally everywhere. Like sometimes they just appear in the most random places and I'm like, oh my gosh. And they have really cool stuff, not only water, they have soda, tea, smoothies, I think. They have snacks as well. It's actually crazy. But being the very boring guy that I am, I've never tried any of it. There's just no paper towels in Japan. Like they just don't exist. Doesn't matter if you're in the bathroom trying to dry your hands or in a restaurant, there's no paper towels. So in the bathroom, you literally have to just like use your clothes to dry your hands. Or maybe there's like an air dryer, but also like there's just one air dryer and there's normally a lot of people in the bathroom. So It just doesn't make sense to wait in line for the air dryer, and it doesn't work that much. In the restaurants, they give you tissues. They give you tissues, which is like the craziest thing to me because tissues are so thin, they don't work at all. So if I get my hands dirty or something, I literally have to use like 8 tissues to get the job done of one paper towel. And it's such a shock. The toilets here are so fancy. They're so fancy. They have so many buttons. There's so many things you can do, which is the craziest thing to my dumb American mind because I only see 2 things you need to do, which is flush and wait, that's it. You just need to flush the toilet. But here in Japan, they give you options to listen to music on the toilet, to control the bidet, which I tried. I'm not a fan of, by the way, if any of you were curious. But it's actually really confusing sometimes because I just go to the toilet and I'm just trying to find how to flush. And sometimes it's like a regular flush thing, but other times it's like a button, but it's in Japanese, so you don't know. And it's actually been a shock to me how much I struggle to go to the bathroom here in Japan sometimes. People go to onsens, which are like public baths. They do so and they go in completely naked. And oftentimes they'll go with all their friends and they're just completely naked. And it might be the American in me or something, but I actually have no desire to see my guy friends naked. I hope that day never comes. I've never been in an onsen because I am too afraid. And I think it would be rude if I was wearing a bathing suit at a Japanese onsen. So I just have never gone. And I've been here for over 6 months now, and I still have not experienced that. So either I get enough money to get a private onsen, or I just never go to an onsen and only go when I come back here 10 years later and I have a lot of money to get the private onsen. And I guess the thing that surprises me most is when talking to my Japanese friends, they're like, you have to see everything. And I'm like, whoa, that's what scares me the most. Because if I would go to onsen, I would like keep my eyes above the whole time. But like, apparently all the Japanese guys, they just compare stuff with each other and they're just not shy about it at all. They actually see going to an onsen with their friends as a way to bond more because there's no barriers or anything. You guys are just together, naked, nothing to hide. But I think I have plenty, I want to hide some stuff, okay? I'm not at that point yet. My last culture shock is kind of a doozy. I didn't realize how much it'd get me when I first came here. And I'm gonna say it and then I'm gonna explain. So, I didn't realize how lonely I'd be when I first came here. Well, I thought it'd be so easy for me to make Japanese friends here because I watched all of these YouTube videos of Japanese people getting interviewed saying that they wanted foreigner friends. So I thought like, hey, I'm a foreigner friend. Everyone's just gonna wanna be friends with me. And it's not that people don't want to be friends with me, it's just that it takes a lot of effort for a Japanese person to be friends with a foreigner. The language barrier is very real. I thought it was like, whatever. I watch anime, I know Japanese, and I'll just vibe whenever I don't understand something. But it's not that way at all. Like, it does take a while to communicate. And then once you get past that communication barrier, there's still like a culture barrier. And it's something I can't really explain, but it's just kind of maybe the vibe you get when you're talking to someone. The way that Japanese people connect with other Japanese people is different than how Americans connect with other Americans. Americans are more, physical and more open, and Japanese people are not as open. There's been times when I'm like talking with someone and like the nonverbal cues aren't there. And I realize like, oh, it's not that they don't like me, it's that here in Japan, you don't act the same way as you would in America when you're like vibing with someone. And as an introvert that I am, it takes a lot for me to make new friends if I'm not like actively focused on connecting with someone. So when you have these little barriers that are very easily surmountable if you just put in the effort. For a guy like me, who is too focused on other things like making YouTube videos in school, I've had a harder time to make friends, especially in the beginning when I was still figuring everything out. I'm way better now in terms of like, I have a few friends that I regularly keep up with. I found my routine, I'm very happy. But definitely in the beginning, it was a shock how lonely I felt. And I was like, oh, nuts. This was not how I thought it would be. And I'm not really one to give advice or anything, but if you are someone that is looking to come to Japan and wants to make friends, Japanese friends specifically, you really have to put yourself in situations where there's a bunch of Japanese locals already congregating. Maybe live in a share house or in a dorm where you're always gonna be around Japanese people. For me, I live in an apartment by myself, so I don't naturally run into Japanese people. A great place as a student is clubs. like basketball club that I'm in. And if you're going here for work, it's definitely your job. And if you're coming here solo, you have to actively go out and seek like that community that you can join. I have so much more about Japan to talk about, like my whole school experience. But because I need help from the YouTube algorithm and you guys, please comment down below what you want to see next, and I'll make it.